And no chance at a return here. They'll start this drive at their own 25. Here's the handoff. Runs ahead and powers his way for 4 yards out to the 30. Let's take just a moment here and talk a little about Texas. They've gotten deep into the conference race, sitting on top of the standings right now. That conference championship game is starting to loom large.
It is, and there's so much at stake, right? Like knowing in the 12-team playoff that I have a chance to get a bye, right? If I can win my conference. So a lot at stake. They've done really well. They're at the top of the leaderboard right now, Palmer, but a little bit of the season still left.
Yeah, you got to focus on today. We're at that time of season where all of us love talking about what's coming up and predicting who that conference championship game is going to be. Can they go to the playoff? It all doesn't matter if you don't win this game today, so you've got to be focused here. This is a massive game.
Third down, and they'll need 5 to keep this opening drive moving. From the gun, wants to pass. Fires to the tight end. Really nice job there to pick up the first down and get it to their own 41.
And you really want your best player to be your quarterback, to be your leader. And he's been that all year long. Dude, he's in the top 10 passing in all of college football, and he's leading this team very much in the Heisman race. And guess what? Got a chance to end the year strong, make a statement, and go out and be maybe the best player in all of college football.
Pulls it in. It's Wingo.
So difficult because my eyes tell me as a defensive guy, he's handing it off. The offensive line's block and run. I got to go get it. Quarterback pulls it, throws it to the right. It's kind of like that hidden hat game. Like, where's the ball? I'm always trying to find that daggone thing.
The Longhorns with myriad options after that big pickup on first down. Looking to fire. There's the pressure. And he got smacked just as he released the pass. It's incomplete.
Pressure affects quarterbacks, and this guy's one of the best in the nation. I don't care how talented you are, but if you're being hit, you're not going to throw completions.
Come to the line on third and short, trying to convert here. Wants to keep it in the air. He's got him wide open. They finally get him on the ground, and this junior turning in a big play after the catch.
I just continue to be impressed watching this guy play. Good decision-making, very accurate. He's obviously got a lot of talent surrounding him, so no surprise with that last completion. He's now over 3,000 yards on the year.
The Longhorns are on the move. Unloads quickly. And maybe he'll get back to the line of scrimmage, but no more than that.
That quarterback putting his face in the fan, I love it. Coming up quickly, making a tackle in space.
Try to make up for some of that lost ground on second down. Wants to go up top. He's got it on the move. Touchdown, Longhorns! Made the grab and took it on in for the score. You want to talk about a great way to start the game and set the tone early.
It's so nice to have a quarterback just get himself into the game, get himself established. You make a couple throws, you lead your offense down the field, you score right off the bat. Could not have been a better start for that QB.
And he knocks the extra point through the uprights. Kickoff unit on the field, and this defense will be called on to protect this lead. He'll bring it back from inside his 5. And a really nice job by the kick team to get down there and make sure they limit that return. Off the play fake on first down, wants to throw. Can't find his man as he took a shot trying to deliver that football, and it'll be second down.
This pass rush is real, man. They force the quarterback, they flush him out to the left, and he's trying to scramble around, find an open guy. They still are able to get a hit on him, and that forces the incompletion.
Working well behind the sticks on second down. The short hands, it's Poe. He'll go out of bounds at the 28-yard line, and deep in your own end, you need plays like that.
Well, your opponent scored on their opening drive, so obviously no need to panic. But I know, having been in this situation as a quarterback, you want to answer right away. So really good to see him making some nice throws here on their opening drive. He's going to try and see if he can get this thing tied up.
They're going to run it to the right. He picks up maybe a couple before he stopped right at the 30-yard line.
And the defense doing a great job committing to the run. When you commit to the run like this, obviously you can give up some plays in the passing game, but you got to stop the run first.
After the 3-yard pickup, they come to the line, 2nd and 7. They'll run play action. Here he goes, breaking the pocket. Trying to make magic with his feet. How about this sophomore learning when to just do it himself? Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. And the Commodores come to the line with a new set of downs. Here we go. Looking to throw on first down. Fires to the tight end. Good pickup, a little bit short of the sticks.
I'll tell you, when you've got a tight end like this, it makes it a lot easier calling pass plays on first down, even if the defense is in zone coverage. He did a really good job there, working his leverage, finding the soft spot, and making it an easy completion.
The Commodores with a 2nd and short to keep this drive moving. Handoff from the gun. And there was nowhere to go, just stopped in his tracks in the backfield.
Yeah, you just feel like the running back's asking for redemption on that one. You know, 2nd and short, and you're giving him the football. He can't get the first himself. Now it's 3rd down. He's looking over on the sideline like, call it again, throw me the ball, I can go do this. It's never a good feeling for the running back in that situation.
Shotgun snap on 3rd down. Fires to the right. That's caught. It's Sherrill. That'll be enough for the first down as they mark it down at the 31-yard line.
Well, we know this guy is special, and because of that, his quarterback is looking to him on critical down and distances. There on that 3rd down, there was no question. It wouldn't have mattered if he was single covered, double covered, man, zone. That's where he was going with it, and the big-time playmaker outside picks up the first.
There's a lot of QBs that when they get hit and when they get hurried and when they get pressured, they become very average. Really nice job by the defense, pressuring the quarterback.
Plenty of work to do here on 2nd and long. Back to pass. And the pass is incomplete thanks to a big hit.
All right, you got to be careful here if you're the quarterback, right? Back-to-back incompletions. You've had a nice drive. You're still in field goal range, though. Think about this. You cannot take a sack. That has got to be what the play caller is reminding his quarterback about in the headsets right now. If it's not there, throw this thing away because we've got a chance to at least get 3 points here.
Yeah, and 3rd and long, everybody is pinning their ears back and coming after the quarterback. You try to throw screens behind those. Sometimes they're very successful, but this time, defense played it great, and the play went nowhere.
Knocked it right through, showing that big range from 48 yards out.
And you want a touchdown, and you want to be aggressive, but, man, right down the middle, that obviously gives me some confidence down the road that I can trust this guy.
And it'll come out to the 25. No attempt at a return. They'll put this one in play. First snap of the drive from the 25. Got the quick completion. They'll spot the ball at the 34 as he goes out of bounds right there.
Well, there's no mystery who they're throwing the football to, but defenses still can't find a way to cover this guy. And with that last catch, he now has over 1,500 receiving yards on the season.
As they get set to snap it, time winding down here in the quarter. Guys, it is Texas who holds the lead. 1 period in the books, and let's take a look at the stats. And they've swapped into the field, and we'll get it going in the second. And the Longhorns with myriad options after that big pickup on first down. They'll go to the air on 2nd and short. Got his man. And works it to the 40-yard line. That'll be a first down. With that last catch, he now breaks the 1,500-yard mark for his career.
And that's a pretty good accomplishment, man. Hitting 1,500 yards, that speaks to your consistency, your durability, and your playmaking ability, Palmer, to consistently make plays. Because when you got those guys as a quarterback, you find it.
Turning it on. They finally get him on the ground, and this junior turning in a big play after the catch.
Defenses have their hands full with him. They just give up a big pass there for a first down, but it's not just the arm you got to worry about, it's his legs too. This guy's top 10 in the nation, total touchdowns scored, and that's why he's in the discussion for the Heisman Trophy.
And the Longhorns, after exploding for that huge run, back to work. Wants to throw on first down. Caught in the backfield, it's Baxter. And a good job in coverage there as they stop it after just a few.
And that's kind of a lot of today's running game, right? Spit the ball out quick, get it to your playmakers in space, get positive yards. It's instead of running the ball a couple yards up the middle, now you just spit it out wide, and a lot of times if you break a few tackles, it could be even bigger.
Plenty of distance between them and the sticks here on 2nd down. Looking to fire. Unloads to the wideout. Got a man in the middle. Gets it inside the 5, down to the 4, and it'll be 1st and goal.
This guy has a chance to bring home the Heisman Trophy this year because he continues to make plays week in, week out. Doesn't matter who's guarding him, what coverages you play. This guy finds ways to make plays for his offense.
The Longhorns have it with a 1st and goal. Defense looks as if it's coming. He works his way ever closer all the way down to the 1-yard line.
You know, I really like this QB running the football because I know he's got a lot of speed, but he's not the biggest guy in the world. So he's not going to be able to break a lot of tackles.
And he waltzes in for the score. Touchdown, Texas!
And that's what makes this quarterback so dangerous, fellas. He can hurt you throwing the ball, but man, is he ever dangerous and explosive with his feet. You have got to be able to get this guy on the ground. If you don't, he has got way too much wiggle and speed. You saw it right there.
They'll try to add another to their lead. And the extra point makes it 14-3. And for a quick update, let's go to Kevin Connors in the studio.
Week to week, it's so tough to figure the ACC, which is why this one is notable. Washington is trailing right now, but I'm old enough to remember the 2001 season where UW won the Rose Bowl and nearly won a title. If that group could find a way, there's hope for this team. It's a touchdown game. They're trailing by 7 to Auburn. Any big changes in this ACC clash, we've got you covered with the best studio team in the business, gentlemen.
Oh, and how about that? I know Kevin and those guys will be keeping an eye on it for us. Vanderbilt has it back and heading out to go on the attack. There's a little more urgency attached to this drive. They've only been able to put up a field goal and start this one down 14-3. That keeps the running game churning. Pick up a 5 to the 23. Let's take a big view here about Vanderbilt. Good pickup on the recruiting trail just last week. 3-star defensive back. A guy that could be a bit of a diamond in the rough, but that type of talent is what they need to build that secondary.
Man, yeah, and this is a program they're trying to build something. They're trying to climb to that next level, and this is how you do it. You get players that your school can go out and get, and now you let them play, start to develop, and turn into something great.
And the pass rush is effective, and they tackle him at the 19.
Well, that defender just was better in his one-on-one on the pass rush. He does a great job beating the offensive lineman to get to the QB.
Now a lot of work to do to move the chains, keep this drive alive after that earlier sack. Wants to adjust the pattern. On 3rd and long, trying to have a big completion here. Makes the grab. It's Ridley. And boy, is he close to that first down, maybe just a couple of inches short. Man down. And let's hold on just a minute here as the officials are going to have a second look. And you know the standard is indisputable video evidence, and the officials will change the call. And the Commodores will snap it on 1st and 10.
Base 27 jump. Base 27 jump. 221 wing. 221 wing.
Jump the gun just a bit, and we've got a false start. The officials offer the deal, and the coach accepts it. They will take the penalty. The officials move it 5 yards back, and it's 1st and 15 for this offense. He wants to throw it. Looking to the big tight end. On target to the left. He gets those chains moving, gets it out to the 42-yard line.
Great job by the offense. Listen, if the defense is going to sit back in zone, you know what you got to do. Run those crossers across the formation. Those guys that are looking at the quarterback, they're not trying to pick up receivers all the time. Make those precise throws, right in those holes, get those first downs, get those big chunks.
What a hit by the defender. That's a good throw, and that was going to be caught, but how about the defender dislodging the football from its intended target? Nice job.
Behind the chains now on 2nd and long. Wants to go up top. Bringing the heat. Snagged in the middle. It's Ridley. We've reached the 2-minute timeout, and a score on this drive would do wonders for their confidence.
It's a nice job running the in route there by the receiver, and the best thing he did after he made his break, he didn't trail and fade away. He actually attacked the football. That's a good lesson for young receivers out there watching.
They just keep firing. Grab near the marker. It's Sheriff. He's got enough to move the chains, and they'll spot it at the 47. We asked earlier this week, who's your favorite receiver? And, of course, he said the open one. But we know who he really wants to go to on 3rd down.
The best one. I mean, I think the open one, obviously the politically correct answer, but you want to find the guy that you got that.
And the the defense will corral the quarterback, and down he goes at midfield.
This offense is going to have to come up with a plan to block this guy. He is an absolute monster, and he showed you all his tools on that sack.
The Commodores now with a long way to go to pick up the first down. Get it out on the screen. Shakes off the defender. And he was fortunate not to lose yardage on that play, able to wedge it back to the line of scrimmage. We got a timeout here late in the first half, and they'll try to get more points on the board before the break. Ninth play of the drive coming up, but this one will be tough. 3rd and long. Looking downfield, and he needs a bunch. And that's incomplete. A defender all over him. Knocked the ball to the ground. 4th down coming up.
This is a point where you just got to be able to focus. And the critical down and distances in this game, like that 3rd down right there, when it's a good throw, you got to make the catch. You've got to be able to make that play.
And the Commodores will try to pin them back with the punt. They'll have to punt for the first time this afternoon. Gets the first one of the day off, and hoping he's not as busy as he was in that loss last week when he kicked it 4 times. Cover guys do their job, and they get him stopped at the 22-yard line. They'll snap this one to start the drive from their own 22. Out of the chute, quick toss to the right. Oh, he's got some space. And the explosive play, and they're on the move all the way to the 44.
If you're going to be a quarterback in the Heisman race, you've got to win games and you got to put up big numbers, and that's exactly what this guy has done all season long. Top 10 in the nation in passing yardage, and he's the biggest reason why they've been winning.
The Longhorns just got that huge run. They'd love another explosive play. Looking downfield on 1st down. Hauls it in. He's brought down, but there's a flag on the field. Let's see what the call is. That offensive line grabbing and holding on, and they'll back up and try it again. Well, that's going to make it a little tougher. It's 1st and 20. Snap in the shotgun. Finds his man. It's Baxter. Taken out of bounds after a good pickup there. They're in striking distance at the 37. They built this offense around finding mismatches and just get the ball to the back and let him do his thing.
Yeah, it didn't have to be long down the field. Like it threw it right near the line of scrimmage, but you know I got a guy when he gets in space.
He's got it, and he ran away from the defense to take it in. Touchdown, Longhorns! They want to finish the season strong, and man, are they doing that here this Week 11 performance.
Well, this offense is clicking. They've been doing it all first half, running the ball, throwing the ball. They had insult to injury with another touchdown here right before teams go into the tunnel. This defense, guys, they have got to find some answers, and they've got to regroup here at halftime.
Lining up to tack one more onto that lead. And with the extra point, they're on top by 18. Quick strike offense on that 3-play scoring drive. And they pay it off with a strike from 38 yards out. The kickoff unit is out there, and boy, did that last drive quiet this crowd. And no chance at a return here. They'll start this drive at their own 25. We'll see them really hit the speed button on the tempo here in the final minute of the first half. He'll start this drive firing. Grabbed in the backfield. It's Poe. And it's pretty obvious there was a big hole in that screen, and the defense ran right through it. Quick timeout from the offense to save precious seconds. What will they dial up on 2nd and a long way to go? Under fire. And they weren't able to make the connection. They were looking for an explosive play.
And this defense, we know, they present a lot of challenges. And you can see it right there, man. They shrink windows fast. They're a top 25 defense for a reason. You really better make sure you're dialed in today, or else they can make you pay in a hurry.
And they won't make the connection, looking to make a big play there.
And that's a really good job by this defense being dialed in. You got a big lead. You know exactly what's coming. This offense is going to have to make some explosive plays down the field. They were ready, they were disciplined, and made a good play on the football.
He gets a block. He'll be guided out of bounds, but not before a nifty return on that one. So let's see how they play it in this final 30 seconds of the first half. Looking to throw on first down. Got a man, it's Baxter. Stop is made at the 36, but he picked up 10 on that one and has a fresh set of downs. The offense will have to use its first timeout of the half. Time dwindling away as they try to put points on the board right before the half. Wants to go up top on first down. That's caught. It's Baxter. Inside the 25. Guided out of bounds at the 22. A good play for this offense as they are threatening to score.
And, man, this guy's shown you the whole gamut, the whole arsenal. Like, he can run, he can throw, he can handle the moment, he can handle pressure. I'm interested to see how he finishes this season. He's already in the top 10 in total touchdowns, rushing and passing. Had a phenomenal year. Now is the time late in the season when you can go win those individual awards.
Fires to the wideout. It is incomplete, and now there are 4 seconds remaining. We've got a timeout in the waning seconds of the half. Maybe a chance to get off a couple more plays. The defense burns their third and final timeout of the half. On second down, they'll try the field goal to get the points before halftime. He needs to make sure those mechanics are pure from the right hash and 40 yards away. It's good, and that was dead solid perfect. And now the lead is even bigger. That's the end of the second quarter. That means it's time to join Kevin and our halftime update. He'll put total leather and get this second half started. He'll start the return inside his 5. He was hoping for something a little more dynamic, but they get him on the ground at the 20. Again, and here comes that Commodore offense. They start this third quarter in a big hole, and they have to start climbing out right now.
And they're going to have to be really aggressive. Like, this offense, when I'm playing from behind, every possession means so much more. And if you look the other side, the defense, they haven't given much resistance.
Yeah, nothing has gone their way in the first half offensively. And you know now, based on how this defense is playing with their confidence, that you are going to be challenged on every single snap. So buckle up, get your mind right, and get ready to come back in this game.
And I tell you what, I know it's little when these QBs miss and the ball's not right to them, but, man, it makes such a difference with yards after the catch. And in this case, even catching the football, it was just a little bit off, and it just made it a little bit difficult for his wide receiver to try to make the catch.
Nice job to get it past the sticks, and they get it down at the 35.
It was so important this offense was able to find a way to get in the rhythm, and the running game is now helping that. 2 straight punts on their previous 2 drives. This drive, though, they're having a little bit more success. Big reason why is this running back. He's been able to find some creases to run through, and it's really helping out this offense.
To the air on first down. Caught in the backfield, it's Poe. Powers through the defender. And the defense settled in to stop that one for a short gain.
Well, this offense will screen you in a variety of ways. They'll throw receiver screens, tight end screens. The running back screen also a big part of what they like to do, like you just saw there.
Military stunt.
Second down, he'll throw it. He put some heat on that one down the middle. Oh, it's picked off. Oh, that's not the way to start a drive. He goes down after the short return, but what a play to get the football back. So now the Longhorns take over and they'll send out the offense. Looking to throw on first down. He's going to throw deep right side. He's got it on the outside. And that tackle almost certainly saved a touchdown after he ripped off a huge gain. Burnt Orange burning some secondaries, working this guy down the field.
Yeah, and making those big plays down the field. Texas, when you think about great teams, you think about explosive playmakers, making those big plays, keeping those defenses on their heels.
That last big play has them in position to threaten here. 1st and 10 from the 37. Back in motion, try to clear the picture. Wants to throw on first down. The screen, and watch out. And they pick up just a few on that completion.
This quarterback right now is in a groove, and he's doing a nice job in pre-snap. He's reading the coverage, and he's getting an idea of where he wants to go with the football. That's why the ball's coming out of his hands so quickly, and that's why he seems like he's in a great rhythm right now.
They're dealing with a 2nd and long. With the catch, it's Wingo. Still on his feet. Corralled and forced out of bounds. Mark it right at the 16-yard line, and man, are they in business.
And how about the year he's put together? I mean, he is in the top 10 in passing in college football, obviously. And obviously, they're talking about him for the Heisman. But just a guy you've been able to trust, a dynamic passer, throwing the football all over the yard. This team has been built on him, and he's had an unbelievable season.
The Longhorns with the 1st and 10. The RPO, fire complete to the left. He is going nowhere. Stop at the line of scrimmage.
I know a lot of people are going to look at that play and say, man, that was a bad play. Didn't gain any yards. But that could be the offense maybe setting something up. The play caller is going to remember that last play. He's going to remember how the defense reacted to it, made a quick tackle. They might pump that throw and then hit another player vertically down the field for an explosive play down the line. Just keep that in mind.
Timeout called by the defense. It's their first of the half as they'll make some adjustments. Backed up now. Here's 2nd and long.
Let's go.
He wants to throw it again. He's got him. Nice move to keep running. And the catch and run into the end zone. Touchdown, Texas. This dude is lighting it up for the Horns, and some old-school Horn fans starting to think about that 500-yard 4-touchdown day Vince Young had against Oklahoma State.
I'm bringing back great memories, and there's been some good runs at quarterback. You think about Colt McCoy, too, man. He put up some serious numbers, some serious wins. Can this be the next guy to catapult this offense, to bring Texas back to prominence?
They'll try to add another to their lead. And the extra point is good. We check in with Kevin Connors. What's going on, Kevin?
All right, guys, got a final score on one of the more intriguing games this week. Utah was like a 65-man mute button. They went on the road and silenced one of the most vocal crowds in football. And it's clear this Utes team has adopted the mantra, let your play do the talking. All that speculation all week, and now we know. But something tells me, fellas, we haven't heard the last of either of these teams.
Yeah, how about that? Sounds as if they had a good ball game there, Kevin. Thanks for the update. Vanderbilt has it back and heading out to go on the attack. Looking downfield on first down. Unleashes one. Catch in the middle. It's Quigley. And a big-time grab there. Knocked down immediately, but not before he gets it to the 40.
That's a huge throw for the offense, but they're down by a ton. They're going to need a lot more of that, and it's not going to be easy considering the defense knows they're probably going to be throwing the ball every play here in the second half moving forward.
Use the play fake. Now to throw. Always a welcome play for the defense as they get a sack at the 47.
Offense, you got to do a better job. There's got to be more sense of urgency protecting your backup quarterback. You've already lost your starter due to injury. Now that the backup's in, you know you're going to have to hold on for just that split second longer, and they weren't able to do it there.
He just missed the target on that one. Got to put it on his body.
This is a situation here in the third quarter this offense did not want to be in, facing a top 10 defense, one of the best units in the entire country. They didn't want to get down on the scoreboard like this and all of a sudden have to throw the football when the defense knew that was going to happen. The incompletion there is not a big surprise. This defense knows what's coming, and it's all because of the points right now on the scoreboard.
They weren't able to get that one off. It'll be a delay of game. Offense took a little bit too much time at the line there. And now let's see what they come up with on third down after that incompletion. Looking to throw, and he needs a chunk play. Finds a tight end. He cannot get there. It'll be fourth down.
You got to love that. On defense, one of the most critical statistics out there is how do you play on third down? How do you prevent the opponent from keeping drives alive? Right there, tackling the catch. You gave up the completion. Whoop-de-doo. You've set up fourth and long. You're going to get the ball back. Go get some water and celebrate.
On fourth down, trying to find his man. Got out of trouble, got rid of it. And they can't make the connection on fourth down, and they'll turn it over.
Love the coverage on defense there. Fourth down, they were ready for the pass. And you saw in the back end, great job being in position to make that play. And now their offense is coming on the field.
First snap of this drive will come from the 46. Looking to throw on first down. He's got his man, makes the grab. And the defense had that one well covered, just a short gain there.
They're trying to throw the wide receiver screen to pick up that first down, but the defense just too much speed getting to the ball carrier on that one.
They'll line up for a second down play. Back to pass. Complete. right downfield. Ripping through the defense and getting it all the way down to the 24-yard line. Guys, it is Texas who holds the lead. Let's take a quick look at the national rankings to see how this playoff race is shaping up. So will the beatdown continue, or is this a comeback for the ages in store? We'll see as we start the fourth. They go back to work in the final period of this one. They'll try the toss to the left. Stopped in the backfield. He's going to lose 3 yards on the play.
It's going to be tough sledding for the offense here. They're trying to ice this game by running the football and bleeding the clock. They've got a pretty good lead here late in the game, but the defense knows the run's coming, right? So they're going to be loading the line of scrimmage, getting stops like what they just did. It'll be interesting to see what the offense does on this next one.
And the Longhorns with a long way to go after the loss on the last play. Second down, they'll go to the air. Makes the catch. Strong, firm tackle.
When you play zone coverage and you got a wide receiver that's a beast, it becomes very, very difficult. Got to make sure I play physical and maybe even shade the side of the wide receiver having a lot of success.
And the Longhorns come to the line on 3rd and short, hoping to keep the drive alive. On the move. And he gets it inside the 10-yard line. They'll mark it at the 9, where it'll be 1st and goal.
QBs that can run completely change your game plan. I mean, every single bit of it. You have to understand now as a pass rusher, I got to keep him in the pocket. I got to understand all the zone read concepts and the power read and the jet read, all the different things they can do to you. So, you know,
trying to get it in. Touchdown Longhorns! And they take it in for 6 more points. They put another one on the board here in the 4th quarter. And how about this team? Just a lone blemish on the resume and about to go to 10-1.
Man, this has been a complete performance. The defense has been lights out, and the offense, obviously, just continues to pour it on. This is what you call having a great day. Putting it all together, offense, defense, complementary football.
He'll take the return, try to get better field position. Didn't find any crease in that kickoff coverage, and he'll be stopped at the 17. Vanderbilt has the ball again, and here comes that Commodore offense. They've got it back after that last drive stalled out, and they were stopped on 4th down, David.
Yeah, and they put a little bit of a drive together, but, Jesse, they stalled on the other side of the field, and they got to find a way to keep that momentum going.
It's kicked off, and another empty drive. He managed a few yards on that return, but the bigger play was the fact that they forced the turnover.
And as a defensive lineman late in the game, man, when you know it's past, you're pinning your ears back, trying to get to the quarterback, and DBs are trying to do this. Pad them stats, get the INT. Nice job by this D.
Motion from the back. This quarterback part of their running game. That is a big win for this defense, as they were right there as soon as he got the ball.
And that's exactly what you want to do as a defense, man. You want to get penetration and not let that tank get downhill. Because when he gets downhill at that weight and that size, it could be a problem for your defense. Get him before he gets started.
Not what they had in mind to start this drive. Here comes 2nd and 13. Looking to fire. Caught over the middle. It's Lockett. Couple of guys there to get him on the ground.
QB now has over 400 yards passing, guys, and you got to give everybody else in the supporting cast a ton of credit. Receivers, great job running routes, catching the football, and this offensive line has been outstanding, giving him time to throw.
The Longhorns line up, trying to move the sticks on 3rd and short. And he scoots his way to the first down and then slides to avoid the hit.
I'm not sure what the quarterback saw on that one, but that was a very quick decision to take off and run with it to try to get his offense some positive yards.
The Longhorns have it with a 1st and 10. Wants to go up top on 1st down. It's complete to the right. And he's brought down after a nice game.
And this offense is built around this dude. I mean, he is sensational. He's been so fun to watch, like play, pitch, and catch, spread the ball around, complete and total command of the offense, and that's why he's putting up big numbers, and that's why he's got a real chance to go to New York and try to win that Heisman Trophy.
The Longhorns have it in scoring position on 1st and goal. Looking to throw. And the quarterback goes down at the 11-yard line. We've reached a 2-minute timeout. In all likelihood, they could just run the clock out. We'll see if they want to rub a little salt in the wound. Defense rose up deep in its own end on that last play. Now a 2nd and long coming. Wants to go up top. He's got it and still on his feet. And they're going to score again. Yet another touchdown as they just add to their total.
Points, points, and more points. This offense has had their way. They just keep their foot on the gas, keep putting up points, keep putting up touchdowns. And you know what? This is one of those stats days. You look back and you're like, that guy had 12 touchdowns in the year. Well, 4 or 5 of them might have been in this game.
Kickoff unit on the field, and this defense will be called on to protect this lead. And he'll just take a knee, and this drive will start at the 25. Drive starts from their own 25-yard line. Power football with the run. These little gains can start to add up as he gets it up to the 34.
And that was a pretty good run there for the offense. And listen, I know this game's over, but that's what this offense needs a little bit more. They need a little more balance, a little more easy 2nd down situations with some positive runs on 1st down. They just need something to get them going, some kind of spark. The ground game might be it in the future.
The defense wouldn't let him loose there, and it was a completion, but they lost yardage.
Love the play by the defense. They just did a good job understanding where the running back was on that play. After the catch, they're able to make the tackle right away, and now they've set up 3rd down.
And this is just one of those days, man, where everything has gone wrong, right? Like they just haven't been in a rhythm. They haven't got it going and never built the momentum. This is one of those days that you learn from, you try to grow from. A lot of things that we're going to show in the film room that people aren't going to like, but hopefully you can learn from it and do better next time.
The incomplete pass makes this series end in frustration as they turn it over on downs.
Offensively, this is a beautiful time now because now I get to get all my other guys in the game. Guys that don't get to play that much, we're up. This game's over after that missed fourth down conversion. Now we get to get everybody in the ball game, or if you choose, like Jesse probably would, to go pad some stats and get some more catches, get some more rush yards if that's your thing.
Got some room, headed to the goal line. And they're going to put another one into the end zone as they just keep piling points on the scoreboard.
And honestly, it's been about complementary football in this game, right? We've seen this offense go up and down the field. They've been lighting up the scoreboard, but the defense has done a great job, too, getting off the field and putting their offense in really good position in this game. The head coach has got to love what he's seen on both sides of the ball today.
And let's check in with Kevin Connors in the studio. Kevin?
Fellas, a big-time top 15 duel. Let's get right to it. Pittsburgh is down right now, but this young man under center has shown some moxie today. We could see a legend born in the Steel City. It's a close one right now. They're trailing by 1 to Texas Tech. We'll circle back if anything big happens in this Big 12 Clash of the Titans. Guys?
Thanks for the update on that one. Kevin, let us know when it goes final. They'll put this one in play. First snap of the drive from the 25. Going to the running game. They'll pick up 4, 2nd and 6 coming.
How about the job by this defense today? They knew what they were getting into. A really good running back. We talked to him this week. It was the main focus point of this offense. Stopping the run game, stopping the run game.
Pressure all over the quarterback, and down he goes at the 24.
And that play is a microcosm of what this game has been. They have not been able to protect their quarterback all game long, early or late, up front, moving.
And the pressure gets to him again. Another sack.
And, man, is that just indictment of the day. Your quarterback getting drilled late in the football game. This offense has sputtered. They haven't found any kind of good rhythm. They haven't done things that really gives your coach confidence and makes you want to.
Oh, he wants it all. Intercepted. Man, they just can't get anything going. They get him on the ground after the turnover, but there is a flag on the field, and we'll see if that will be a reprieve for this offense. To the air on first down. Pulls it in. It's Poe. Into enemy territory and out of bounds at the 48.
A lot of times the QB's going to drop back and try to make a big play, What's your safe option if nothing's there? Slip it to your running back. Let him catch it. Let him go get a first down for you.
And he'll make his way out of bounds after the solid pickup. The Commodores can really attack on this 2nd and short. Back to pass. Got it in the middle. It's Sherrill. Timeout on the field and 4 ticks left to go.
Timeout, Vanderbilt.
They've decided to try to go for the field goal here. The field goal is no good. Hoping to cut into that lead, and they did not. The lead is huge. Well, this one had all the suspense of a bug hurtling his way toward a windshield, and they did splatter them. An absolutely dominating performance.
You got to give the coaching staff a ton of credit. They obviously had their guys ready to play and motivated right from the opening kick. All 3 phases we saw, just spectacular football. No mental mistakes, David. You really can't play better than that.
Nah, it's really fun to do this. Come out and just dominate opponents. Start from finish. Nothing to worry about. You just know you're better. You're going to do you. Put up a bunch of points and win by a lot of points.
Thanks so much for spending some time with us. For David Pollack and Jesse Palmer, I'm Reese Davis, and this has been another presentation of EA Sports College Football.